All right, so good day everyone. Welcome to our new online class session. So this is Teacher Mark again, and I'm really excited to guide you through this very important topic that we will be discussing today. Okay, so all right, so before we begin, I just want to ask, how are you guys? How are you? Can you please give me a reaction there? Can you send heart reaction? All right. So okay. So I do hope that you guys are doing well and ready to learn. I know online classes can be challenging, but let's make this lesson and this session fun and interactive. And today we'll continue to take a closer look at this dark period in our country's history. A lot of important things happened during this time, and there are lessons we can learn from it. Okay, and this remember, guys, that this isn't just about memorizing dates and events, but also understanding how it shaped the society we live in. All right, so are you guys excited? Can you send me a react? All right, thank you. But before we dive into our topic for today, let's go over a class few rules to make sure we have a smooth and engaging session. So please, first, be ready to learn. Please come prepared and everything you need. Be kind and respectful. Let's use polite language and listen to each other. Keep focus. Avoid distraction like toys or gadgets, and follow our online rules. Mute your mic when not speaking and turn your camera if possible. All right. So, um, now, let's now proceed with our lesson. Okay. Let's start with a quick and fun activity to warm up. So for today, the start of our session, class, we're going to play Would You Rather. Okay. So it will be an easy game to get us thinking and interacting. Now, here's how to join. Get your phone, okay? Scan your QR code on the screen or click the link that I have sent on the chat box. So if you can see on the chat box, I've sent the Mentimeter link. You can open that link, okay? Or you can go to menti.com and enter the code that you can see on the screen right now. And once you're in, just pick the option you prefer in each question, all right? So let me go ahead and present our online poll. So all you have to do is just to choose your answer for our online poll. Okay? So there you go. Did you guys open it already? Can you please send me a reaction if you guys have opened the link already? Okay, great. So let's go ahead and start. So I'm going to showing now on the screen the first question. So the first question is, would you rather live in a country where food is cheap but there are no jobs, or where the job exists but everything is expensive? Again, would you rather live in a country where the food is cheap but there are no jobs, where jobs exist but everything is expensive? Yes, cheap food but no jobs. No, jobs available but high cost of living. Or abstain, no preference. Okay? So guys, we are 10 in here, or 8, right? So I do expect a lot of answer from you guys. Can you please cast your answer? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so only 3 students to answer the poll. So all of you guys answered, and the result is equal. So thank you. Now let's proceed with the next question. Would you rather speak out against something unfair and risk punishment, or stay silent to stay safe? Again, would you rather speak out against something unfair and risk punishment, or stay silent to stay safe? Yes, speak out and risk it. No, stay silent and safe. Or abstain, no preference. So please cast your answer. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so there are 4 people who cast their answer, and 2 of them speak yes, speak out and risk it. All right. Next question. Would you rather go to a school that's always open but has no proper books or teachers, or school that closes often because of budget problems? Again, Would you rather go to a school that's always open but has no proper books or teachers, or a school that closes often because of budget problems? Yes, always open but lacking resources. No closes often due to government mismanagement, or abstain or no preference. Okay? So there you go. All right. So we do have an equal answer for no close often due to government mismanagement and abstain no preference. So you guys really like that, huh? You really like a school that closes often. All right. So thank you so much for casting your answer. And next question, I think this will be the last. Would you rather live in a country that is peaceful but doesn't allow you to express your opinion, or a noisy country where people are free to speak? Again, would you rather live in a country that is peaceful but doesn't allow you to express your opinion, or a noisy country where people are free to speak? A, yes, peaceful but no freedom. No, noisy but free. Uh, or abstain, no preference. Okay. All right. So there you go. Five of you answered no, noisy but free. So you guys like noisy, right? All right. So thank you, guys, for casting your answer to our online poll. So thank you so much. Okay. So now my question to you guys. Now that we're done with our online poll activity. Now, looking at your answer, we notice some of you chose safety over freedom, while others preferred fairness if it meant difficulty. So those are tough choices, okay? But during real crisis in our history, many Filipinos were forced to face even harder ones. Imagine living in a country where your parents couldn't get jobs, food prices were rising, and speaking your mind could land you in jail. So yeah, actually, guys, that's a reality. More than 30 years ago in our country, or about 50 years ago in our country, right? So, um, so let's now proceed with our topic. So, the reason why we did that, guys, as you can see, you do have an option to cast your preferences. But again, like what I mentioned earlier, 50 years ago, that's actually our freedom to choose is actually very limited, because we are living in a dictatorship society. We are being led by a dictatorship. And that is why for today, we're going to continue the topic, but today we're going to talk about Marcos regime and the consequences of dictatorship. And for today, we're going to discuss the economic decline and human rights violation during this time. All right. Now, so during this time, the economic decline of the country and the human rights violation, many Filipinos actually suffered. During this time, poor leadership and corruption damaged our economy, and thousands of people were silenced, punished, or made to disappear for simply speaking out. All right. So this lesson isn't just about what happened in the past, it's about understanding how those events still affect us today. And to you guys, as a young citizen, you have the power to recognize the signs of injustice and be part of building a better future. So as we go through the lesson, ask yourself how economic struggles and the loss of human rights connect, and what can we do to protect this right today and in the future. Okay? So are you guys excited? Can you send me a reaction? All right, thank you so much. All right, so but before we proceed with our lesson, let's go through our objectives. By the end of this session, you guys are expected to examine the economic decline during the Marcos dictatorship through timeline analysis, illustrate the violations of human rights committed during the Marcos regime through a class discussion, and connect the economic decline and human rights violation during the Marcos regime through the concept association rates. Okay? Now, let's proceed with have a first a quick introduction, or a quick review of the Marcos regime. Last time we talked about the first term of President Ferdinand Marcos, but this time we're going to talk about the martial law, or this period will be from 1972 until 1986. Okay, so um, First, let's discuss that Ferdinand Marcos ruled the Philippines for over 2 decades, about 20 years. So in 1972, he declared the martial law, giving himself a full control over the government, media, and the military. During this time, opposition was silenced, power was abused, and the country's economy began to suffer. Okay, and his declaration of martial law allowed him to centralize power. All right. And the economy was tightly controlled by Marcos and his cronies. And we will know more about that. But first, let's proceed with our first topic for today, which is the economic decline during the Marcos regime. Okay. This is the time when our economy started to fall because of corruption, poor decision, and abuse of power. Okay. So let's explore what really happened and how it affected the everyday lives of the Filipino at that time. Okay? Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready? Can you send me a reaction? Okay. You guys can also use the mic so you can speak, okay? So yeah, let's proceed. Now, um, we're going to have our first activity for this for today is a breakout room session where we're going to do a timeline analysis. Okay, we'll be doing in a small groups. Since Google Meet doesn't allow me to create official breakout rooms, I've sent two separate break Gmeet link on the chat box. I hope you can see that. There's a breakout room number one and breakout room number two. So you also find your name in the chat. So please check which room you've been assigned to. All right. So I'm going to give you guys like okay. So once inside your breakout room, open the Padlet timeline I shared. Okay, you can see the QR code as well on the screen. Okay, and as well the link as well, I send it to our chat box. So your task is to research what happened economically during that year and briefly explain how contributed to the country's economic decline. Think about things like foreign loans, corruption, rising prices, or job losses. Okay, I for the breakout room number one and two. So you guys will start from I indicated the year in there, so that's the timeline that you need to answer. Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys 3 minutes, so please do that and have someone to present it once done. Okay, so the 3 minutes start now. Thank you, guys. Okay, so time's up. Are you guys back? Are you guys back?
Yes po,
Yes
Can you?
sir.
po.
All
Andito
right.
na
So
po.
okay, there you go. Thank you so much. All right, so let's now proceed. I do hope that you guys had a fruitful discussion. All right, so I do hope that you have also put your answer. Okay, there you go. I can see now your answer. Yeah, very good. Okay, so let me go ahead and present it. Who will be presenting for the breakout room number one?
Hello po.
Oh, it's Carl. Okay. How about
Yes
for breakout room
po.
number two? Who will be presenting it?
Ako po, sir.
Oh, Cynthia. Okay. So thank you. All right. So now let's proceed with our timeline analysis. Okay. So I do hope that you guys have a fruitful discussion and research during your breakout room session. All right. So, all right. So we're going to skip this. I have pre-made this, the 1972, the martial law declared. Okay. So now let's start with 1975 to 1980. Breakout room number one, Carl.
Hello po. Good morning po. So, for
Good
our
morning.
breakout room, we discussed of the heavy foreign borrowing of the Marcoses. So, as we all know, Marcoses had made several infrastructure during those time, and through that people are
Mm-hmm.
praised them by publicizing those types of infrastructure, but
Okay.
later on they um they found out that Marcoses borrowed the foreign debt of $20 billion, so that
Mm-hmm.
debt are still carried by the Philippines up until today. So, for the next slide po, sir, as part of our presentation, the 1981 crony capitalism. So, even after the Marcos Law was lifted, crony
Mm-hmm.
capitalism and corruption continued. Only few benefited while Filipinos remain poor. So our indication or the meaning of crony capitalism are those crony of Marcos. When we talk about crony, those are the people that
Mm-hmm.
are as aligned with Marcos for friends or their peers. No, one of the example of those are the Swiss Bank of Marcos during those time, and then
Mm-hmm.
for the corruption, since they monopolize some of the government fundings and project, they benefited from it, and the Philippines still at the poorest state. So, thank you so much po.
All right. So thank breakout room number one. Thank you for your insightful answer to our timeline and as well as your research. Yeah, thank you, Carl, for presenting your work as well. So yeah, during that time, the government actually borrowed heavily, especially foreign debt. Okay, it actually exceeded for like about $20 billion. So imagine that's actually a lot of increase, and because there's a big money that was borrowed, it will require a lot of money as well to pay for it. And what happened during this period is that we borrowed more than what we can pay for. All right, our ability to pay is not actually um, does not match to the amount of money that we have borrowed. And yes, in 1981, martial law was lifted, but the economy still struggled. This is the this in this period, there was like a lot of study that was conducted, survey that was conducted, where about 6 out of 10 Filipinos are actually consider themselves poor. All right. So thank you, breakout room number one. How about breakout room number two?
So, good day, everyone. I'm the one who present our topic. So, August 21, 1983 is the assassination of Ninoy Aquino. So, this political event triggered a loss of investor confidence, leading to peso devaluation, inflation, and panic in the economy. So,
Okay.
next slide. Next is 1984 to 1985, the economic recession. The economy shrunk by about 7% per year. So jobs were lost, prices rose, and poverty worsened for millions of Filipinos. That's all, sir.
Okay, thank you, Cynthia, and as well as breakout room number two for your presentation. Yes, during this period from August 21, 1983, former Senator Benigno Aquino Jr., sorry, was actually assassinated. And because of this, there was a loss of trust to the government, and there's a loss of investor confidence. So there's actually there is no longer a foreign investment coming in, new foreign investment coming in, and that actually weaken our economy. And another is there was an economic recession already from 1984 to 1985, where a lot of Filipinos became poor. The the prices of goods and services is also high, that actually made a lot of Filipinos suffer. And because of this, combining the loss of freedom, combining the extreme poverty and dissatisfaction with the government, in 1986 there will be a revolution, a peaceful revolution that will end the Marcos dictatorship. And one of the factor with that is actually the economic hardship that was that Filipinos experience at this time. So thank you so much, breakout room number one and two, for your presentation. But what's really happened during this period? Okay, during this period, there was actually a lot of um, when it comes to economic factor. Filipinos really suffered, and a lot of the people who actually live at that time can actually remember it. Okay, but some will actually say that they really miss the martial law years, but um, but maybe they already forgot what really happened at that time. Yeah, because your Lola will say to you that, yeah, during the Marcos era it was the golden age, but we're actually um, but at that time we're actually walking to the school miles and miles, and we are eating salt. But yeah, because of the effect of nostalgia. So what really happened at that time? There are actually key factors at that time, that during the martial law, there was the key factors that contributed to the economic decline is the excessive borrowing, crony capitalism, and mismanagement of resources. And because of this, there was a widespread poverty and an unemployment. There was a rising inflation and debt, and weak agricultural and industrial sector. All right. So you will know, you will understand this more once you go through on your on high school, once you studied economics. But for now, it's very important that for us to know that this actually happened during this time. Okay. Now, now that we have discussed the economic decline, and again, good job everyone for the breakout room session with our Padlet activity. I hope it helped you understand how key events during the Marcos regime unfolded and affected our democracy. Now, let's shift the second part of our lesson. Okay, uh, for right now, we're going to talk about the human rights violation that took place as well during the Marcos regime, during the martial law era. Okay, this is a very sensitive topic. Okay, so I just want to let you know, guys. So during this period, during the martial law, thousands of people were tortured, arrested, or went missing. There weren't just they were not criminals. Okay, they were journalists, student, teachers, and even regular workers. Okay, and for right now, we're going to have an online discussion, and I would like to know your insights about this topic. Okay, I will be asking you question, guys. So please, um, I do expect that you guys will participate. Okay, but let's talk about first the human rights violation. Uh, During that time, there are actually serious abuses that affected the thousands of Filipinos. Okay, there are actually types of human rights violation that occurred during this time. First, we do have the torture and abuse. At this time, some people were actually physically hurt or mentally abused just because they spoke out against the government. So what will happen, class, at that time is that they will be arrested, they will be brought to the military camp, okay, or somewhere, and then they will be tortured. And then in order for these people to forget what they are fighting for, or if the government or the officials or the law enforcers would like to extract information from them. Another one is the extrajudicial killing. So you guys might be familiar with this because recently we do have a former president that was that is actually arrested and brought to international criminal court because of extrajudicial killing that took place recently. So you guys might be familiar with this term. During this period, guys, um, people were killed without proper trial, often because they were suspected of being against the regime. At that time, if they think that you are a communist, that you are part of a armed movement, they will arrest you or worse, kill you. And we call this the extrajudicial killing. And another is the government controlled information through censorship and suppression of media. Journalists were silenced and people didn't know the truth about what was happening. And lastly, there was what we call the forced disappearances. Their families never saw them again, and no one was held responsible. This action created fear and silence across the country, and many Filipinos live in constant worry and during this time. Now, my question to you, class, how do you think this would affect yours if you guys did live during this time and you saw this happening around the society? For you guys, how do you think this would affect your sense of identity, your trust in government, and your relationship with others? Would you choose to stay silent or speak out, and why? Yes, Kevin.
Um, Ako po sir siguro as a student na nag-aaral sa Manila
Mm,
and nakikita ko kung paano yung mga yung mga estudyante dito is very active sila with regards dun sa mga opinions nila sa government is that surely sa akin is kapag
mm,
nakikita ko rin yung mga ganong klaseng ano sa environment ko and yung mga nararanasan nila na parang is injustices, syempre for me, mai-influence rin ako na mag-speak out for their ano,
mm.
para dun sa mga karapatan nila. Yun lang po.
All right, thank you very much. Can you please give a clap or heart for Kevin? Okay. Yeah, thank you. So yeah, I agree with you, Kevin. You know what? If if I also live at that time, I might also I might also speak out. I will not stay silent because at the during this type of when there is an oppression, it is very important that you speak out. You know what they're saying, if you stay silent, you actually choose the side of the oppressor, right? So it's very important that you speak out. Now, thank you, Kevin. Now, what was the consequences of this human rights violation? So there was actually first there was a widespread fear and oppression. People were actually afraid to speak, to ask question, or even trust each other. Okay, there was a mistrust between each other because they think um, that your neighbor were actually turned against you. Okay, but despite some danger, there was also some individuals who stood up. Okay, and that's why there were a human rights organization that were formed during this period, and a lot of this human rights organization still exists today, and they are still fighting for the freedom and fighting against oppression against the marginalized sector. All right, so their courage helped the people at that time to keep the fight for justice alive. And there were actually a lot of heroes at that time. You know, if you guys will have a chance, you may watch some videos about testimonies and as well as stories of those heroes who fought against the dictatorship. Now, my question, class, if you lived during the Marcos regime and saw both economic problems and human rights violation happening around you, what do you think would have done? What do you think you would have done, and why? What do you think you will do if you saw this economic problem and human rights violation? Anyone who would like to? Okay, yes, Carl.
Hello po, sir. Siguro po, sir, if nandyan po ako sa time na yon, I would also speak up kasi po,
Mm,
na-oppress na po kasi yung ating mga kababayan during those time and they need someone who will fight for their rights po.
mm.
Thank you po.
All right, thank you, Carl. I really like your answer. Thank you. Can you please give heart or clap for Carl? Okay, how about Daryl? You raise your hand. John Daryl.
Okay, sir, good morning. If I live during the Marcos
Mhm.
regime, that I would speak up the peaceful way, like joining protesting, writing the article, or helping victim, because I believe that every person deserves freedom and justice.
Okay, yeah, that. Thank you, Carl, for that answer. You,
Staying in
it looks like.
silence, meaning
Mhm.
allowing to injustice to continue. is the-
Okay. All right, thank you, John Darrell, for that answer. Can you please give a clap for John Darrell and Hart? Okay, yes, Carl, you would like to add something? No? Okay. Yeah, I agree with Carl and as well as John Darrell. So thank you. You know what? If, like what I mentioned earlier, if I am also in at that era, I might also speak out and I might do something to help my fellow Filipino to fight for justice. Okay, it's very important, class, that if you saw injustices in the society, it's very important that you speak out because there's a reason why you do have a voice, and there's a reason why you do have the environment, the ability to speak for them, so you must continue to do so. All right, so guys, thank you so much for sharing your answer. All right, so now let's now go ahead and proceed. Now, my next question is after we have discussed the economic decline during the martial law and the human rights violation, how does economic decline and human rights violation are connected? Um, during this time, okay, during the Marcos regime, we're connected. All right, and that is something that we will be answering with our activity. Okay, we're going to do a concept association race. Okay, we're going to connect these two big ideas, economic decline and human rights violation, through this quick game. Now, what are we going to do, class? So in the chat box, you can open the chat box. I want you to form one sentence connection between these two concepts, economic decline and human rights violations, and use the connector words from the linking ideas column here on the screen that you can see right now. So example, this is only an example. Of course, you can no longer use it. Martial law led to crony capitalism. All right, you'll just have to do it like that. So you have 1 minute to type as many valid connection as you can. Fast and accurate and thinking counts. So, and here's the bonus, guys. The student with the most valid entries will earn extra points on our next quiz. Okay? So are you guys ready? Okay. So if you guys are ready, you may start it now. Send your linking word to um okay, on our chat box. Okay, we do have from the Jandaral, militarization resulted in budget misallocation. Okay. Fear culture paralyzed labor unions, from Cynthia. No freedom of expression, silence criticism of economic management and fraud. Um, okay. No freedom of expression. Of expression. It silence criticism of economic mismanagement and fraud. Um, there you go. All right. So intimidation contributed to kickbacks and shady deals. Media blackout undermined confidence in government reports. And suppression of dissent weakened public. Um, okay, so there you go. All right. So I guess we consume already the 1 minute, right? Can you guys hear me? Okay. All right. So thank you. I'm going to check that later. Who is the student who sent the most number of linking? Who sent the most numbers of linking ideas between economic decline and human rights. So good job, guys. Thank you. So now my next question is class is that how is economic policies of the Marcos administration at that time, or the dictatorship of that time, and the human rights violation were really connected. Now, the economic decline actually worsened poverty, which made easier for the regime to maintain control and silent dissent, and corruption and power consolidation further enabled human rights abuses. This link reminds us how economic and political systems influence one another. All right. And remember as well, class, economic decline under Marcos was caused by mismanagement, corruption, and cronyism. Human rights violation include torture, extrajudicial killings, and forced disappearances, and both economic struggles and human rights abuses were tied to the centralization of power and the suppression of the dissent. Okay? So, is there any question with the topic that we have discussed for today? Everyone? None? Okay, so I can see your reaction. So thank you so much. And because there is no question, we will now proceed with our next activity, okay? And for today, we're going to play a soccer. All right? We're going to play a football. Are you guys ready? Can you guys send me a heart react? Okay, so let me just go ahead and all right. So one moment here. Okay, let me just um okay, so there you go. All right, so um what are we going to do with this activity? So this is how it works, guys. We have two teams. Those in breakout room number 1 are the team A, and breakout room number 2 are team B. Each team will take turns choosing a letter on the virtual board. Behind each letter is a question based on today's lesson. If your team answers correctly, your soccer ball will move closer to the goal, and the first team to score a goal will win the game. And here's the exciting part, class. The winning team will be exempted from the next quiz. All right. So listen carefully, think fast, and work as a team. Let's see which group will win the match. Okay. So let's start with Team A. Team A, letter.
Um,
Yes.
I,
Yes. Kevin.
letter B po.
Okay. Letter B, as in boy.
Yes po. Boy.
Okay, letter B. Who was the president of the Philippines during the martial law period?
Ferdinand Marcos Sr.
Okay, that's correct. Yes, it's Ferdinand Marcos Sr. So good job, Team A. Your ball will advance. Okay. Okay. All right. Now, Team B, choose a letter.
Letter L po.
L. Okay. The painful or cruel treatment used by authorities to silence opponents. Ano? What is this?
Torture po.
All right, that's correct. Yes, it's torture. Good job, Team B. Your ball will advance. Okay. Now what? Team A. Team A. Someone from Team A.
Letter F po. F.
Okay, F. All right. What happened to the media during the martial law period?
Censored and or suppressed po.
All right, that's correct. It's censored or suppressed. Okay. Yeah, thank you. So your ball was advanced. Okay. So now let's proceed. Next letter, Team B.
A po, sir.
A. Okay. All right. A. So what term refers to the rule where the military controls the government during an emergency?
Ano po, martial law.
All right, let's check. Okay, yes, that's correct. Martial law, very good guys. It seems that you guys really did listen during the lesson. Okay, good job. Team A.
Letter J po.
Okay, J, let's check. Okay, what economic problem worsened during the Marcos regime affecting many Filipinos? What is this economic problem?
Poverty.
Let's check if it's Okay, there you go. Yes, it's poverty. All right, that's team A, right? Team A. Okay,
Yes po.
let's check. All right, now team B,
Ano po, sir, letter E po.
letter E. Okay. What year martial law was officially lifted?
1981 po.
Let's check. Is it 1981? Okay, there you go. Yes, it's correct. It's 1981. Okay. So if Team A will be able to answer the next question, they will hit the goal, I think. If not, Team B will have a chance. Okay. So yeah, Team A, choose a letter.
Letter H po.
H. What is the term for people who disappeared during martial law and were never found?
Forced disappearances.
Are you sure?
Yeah, yes po.
Okay, let's check. Okay, yes,
Thank
that's
you.
correct. It's forced disappearances. Okay. All right. So congratulations, team team A, breakout room number one for winning this activity. So you guys will be exempted on our next quiz uh, on Friday. Okay. So let's conclude our discussion. In conclusion, class, the Marcos dictatorship showed how losing freedom and democracy harms people and the economy. It reminds us to protect our rights and stands for justice. Okay? So I do hope, class, that you have learned a lot from our today's lesson. But there's more. Okay? So before we end, I'd like you to complete a quiz, a quick exit ticket to reflect on what you've learned today. Please answer this question on the pad that I've shared. Why is it important to learn about the economic decline and human rights violation during the Marcos regime? And how can this help us protect democracy today? So just write 1 to 2 sentences, be honest and share your thoughts. This is your way of showing what you've taken from today's lesson and will also stand as your attendance. Okay, now before we end our session, let's go back to our lesson objective and see if we achieve them today. Okay, so first, were we able to examine the economic decline during the Marcos dictatorship through our timeline analysis? You may send your reaction, your okay reaction. Okay, so second, did our class discussion help you understand and illustrate the human rights violation that happened during the Marcos regime? And last but not the least, and lastly, through our concept association race, were you able to connect the economics decline and the human rights violation we studied today? If your answer is yes, all of them, then great job. You've just deepened your understanding of one of the most critical chapters in our country's history. Let's carry this lesson with us, not just as a student, but as a future leaders who can protect and strengthen our democracy. So thank you so much, everyone, for your active participation today. I really appreciate the insight and reflection you shared throughout our discussion, and I hope today's lesson uh, help you gain a deeper understanding of the challenges faced by the Philippines during the Marcos regime and how these challenges are still relevant to us today. So as we continue to explore history, remember that it's not just about learning facts, it's about understanding the lesson and using them to make positive impact on our future. So keep thinking critically and I look forward to our next session. Have a great day everyone. Bye.
Bye,
Thank
sir.
you,
Thank you
sir.
po.
Thank you
Thank
po.
you.